Hello, everyone. So in the course later, I'm going to be giving you a history of COVID-19 via memes. Now, you've probably been operating under a definition of memes without realizing the origin of the term, and that perhaps what we talk about as memes are not the what is really intended. So what is this lecture trying to do is giving you a theory of the meme. So perhaps I should really say, when we talk about the meme that you're familiar with, it's really, you have to understand its essence by understanding the term ephemera. Ephemera refers to matter that's not made to endure. It's ephemeral, okay? Ephemera, when it's collected by historians, becomes the primary sources. We keep ephemera so that what it reveals about the time in which it was produced does not get lost. Ephemera could be a postcard. Now, when I say postcard, if you get a postcard from your friend who's spending the summer in France, you might be jealous, but still you'll keep that postcard. You'll make it not ephemeral, okay? But think ephemera in terms of what we get in the mail, announcing a yard sale, and anything that is announcing a new business opening. You get it, maybe read it, put it on the fridge, and you're going to recycle it the next day. That's what we mean by ephemera. Think of the political cartoon, particularly in newspapers. Okay? You see that political cartoon once in the newspaper and then never again. The newspaper is meant to be recycled. Hopefully you recycle your newspapers. It's the same with political cartoon in magazines. You read a magazine for that week, and then, unless you're a hoarder, you recycle the magazine. Okay? They're meant to be temporary. They're meant to make you realize a point, maybe make you smile temporarily upon reading it. It was somebody's a lot of work to create that political cartoon, but then you laugh and then it goes into the recycling bin. That's what we mean by ephemera. Digital ephemera are spread in the era of digitalism. Instead of now a political cartoon being given to you by a newspaper or magazine, via a newspaper or magazine, the newspaper and the magazine is the medium of that political cartoon. You could now get it on Instagram, Facebook, okay? But it's still ephemeral. Unless you save it, unless it's really funny or share it to a friend, it is going to disappear. It's going to have the lifetime of a feed, of your Facebook feed, of your Instagram feed. Here comes the meme. The meme is kind of like a political cartoon, but really what you're talking about is a digital meme. You see, that's not the original meaning of the meme. Basically, you're getting a digital image with some text that makes you laugh or makes you realize a point. It's not the meme itself, and I'm going to explain why. And then you get the tweet. Tweets are meant to be ephemeral. If somebody wrote something that they're embarrassed of in the tweet, they hope it's ephemeral. They hope it doesn't last. You tweet something 140 characters, it goes out that day, and then maybe it will be circulated. But usually tweets don't have a long, we could say, shelf life. Now, let me introduce you to the media theorist Marshall McLuhan, who came up with the famous phrase, "The medium is the message." In other words, you'll get message in various media, but he also argues that the way the medium, or remember, the plural of medium is media. The medium that delivers you the message also has a message in the way that it is delivered to you. In other words, whatever the message of a tweet is, Marshall McLuhan would say something about the tweet itself. It is basically information in our digital era can be communicated in 140 characters very easily. It could go viral with a hashtag. Okay? No matter what's the message of the hashtag allows for virality. Jean Baudrillard is a French philosopher who came up with this notion of hyperreality. And hyperreality is this. There's the reality that exists out there. Then we came up with something called virtual reality, and virtual reality was supposed to be recreating reality. Okay. Baudrillard would say, that's a false distinction. The world we inhabit is a mix between reality and virtual reality. Where does one end and the other begin? Where does one begin and the other end? He says there is no fine distinction. He calls that condition hyperreality. It's the condition of hyperreality is when we can't tell between life and virtual reality, we live in hyperreality. If you've seen the film The Matrix was inspired by the philosophy of Jean Baudrillard. Okay. So in other words, memes, tweets, they're all part of our hyperreality. The Netflix series Black Mirror is about hyperreality. And I took this screenshot from a student because the student wasn't able to get to class because look what her machine is doing to her. 30 minutes remaining for a reboot. That means 30 minutes, she'll be late to class. That's a hyper real reason not to come to class. What is she staring at as the computer reboots? That's the Black Mirror. It's when our phone and computer goes off and we see our reflection in the screen, a kind of distorted image in the screen. And God, she needs to clean her screen. Did she sneeze 30 times on her screen and never cleaned it? But okay, so there you go. That is the Black Mirror. The Black Mirror is about our hyperreal condition. Then the third philosopher we want to go to is Roland Barthes. Basically, he was talking in the 60s and 70s about the photograph. But look what he's saying, and this could apply to the digital meme as well. When a person reads a photograph, it's always historical. It depends on the reader's knowledge, as if it's almost a language. Intelligible only if one has learned the signs. The signified refers to a culture receiving the message. It's parasitic. The image quickens the meaning of the author. It's a remote control. It's a meaning chosen in advance. The meme does this. But just to take Roland Barthes, sentence 1 through 4, apply it to this. This is a piece of ephemera. Time Magazine, October 10th, 2020. You see, a meaning chosen in advance, something signified, depends as if this is real language. You see, we all recognize the White House without the words White House having to be written. And this is the amazing thing. People around the world also recognize the White House. Roland Barthes would say that we all speak a kind of visual language that helps us understand it. 2 years ago, these balls with spiky proteins wouldn't probably make any sense to you. But what did he say in the first sentence? The connotation of the photograph is historical. Every single one of us now, after 2020, after going through this historical period, can recognize these spiky balls. This Time Magazine cover doesn't say a word, but we know what's going on in October. A lot of people in the White House are getting coronavirus, including the President of the United States. Okay. So that's just, we might look at this and just take it for granted, just give it a given. We might pass by it on the grocery store aisle or see it in the doctors. Well, doctors don't have magazines in the waiting room anymore because they could be a fomite where a virus is transmitted. Okay, but Time magazines might be something our parents subscribe to, right? But this is all that image is referring to what Roland Barthes argues. So then what is a mimetic political theory of COVID-19? And we're going to be using memes to basically see how do memes challenge power. It's a form of digitalist mass politics, or in other words, politics that emerged in the digital era that allows anyone in the masses to create an image. It's grassroots, allows people to participate, and it's enabled by digitalist, spreadable media. Now, here's the irony is, viral memes about COVID-19 are about viral memes. So let me define what the meme is. The word meme is actually borrowed from biology. Think about this. So is the word viral. Okay, it's both you're using two terms to refer to the digitalist era, but you're borrowing it from biology. The meme in science is just any piece of information that seeks to replicate itself. COVID-19 is a meme. It's a piece of RNA that invades a cell to seek to replicate itself. What we call memes are actually, if the virus is a piece of RNA that seeks to replicate, it's the meme. When it invades the cell, that's the medium, there you go, in which it replicates. The digital image with a bit of, some snarky words on the bottom, but the stock images you're all familiar with, that's the cell, okay? That's just a digital image with some digital writing, made easy to create in the digitalist era. What is the meme then? It's an idea, you see. You see, look at the following video I'm going to show you. The origin of the Karen meme. Okay, what's this video is going to define to you? You see, the Karen meme is an idea of a particular type of woman. Whenever we see a digital image referring to a Karen, that's just a digital image. The meme is the Karen. Whenever you see somebody in, let's say, Trader Joe complaining out of control, and you're just thinking, okay, Karen, that's the meme. You just said the meme in your head. You see the meme. We always call those digital images with words on it. That's not the meme. The meme is some kind of idea that can replicate itself. So having said that, let me show this video that describes the Karen meme, whereupon you would understand memes aren't the funny images you get shared, that are shared via WhatsApp or Instagram or Facebook, okay? It's an idea embedded in a digital image. So having said that, let's go to this video about the Karen meme. You understand that it's an idea of Karen that gets spread. So here we go, the origins of the Karen meme, given to us by BuzzFeed. Now, BuzzFeed is a very good example of hyper-real media. Media given to you basically in very list form. That's how it began, but now it's producing videos.
Okay, Karen.
Hi, my name is Karen.
Hi, I'm Karen.
My name is Karen, or as my mother calls me, Karen. And yes, I have definitely seen the Karen meme. And
I'm a Karen, but I'm not a Karen.
What's a Karen? Why is it everywhere, and where did it come from? This is the origin of the Karen meme. When most people think of Karen, an image of a white lady with Kate Gosselin's 2008 haircut comes to mind.
The meme has evolved from someone entitled who has a specific style haircut and always wants to speak to the manager if they don't get their way, to something a little more complex and higher stakes. Karen has come to represent a white, entitled woman who is capable of causing harm to people around her, in particular people of color.
So they tried to walk right here and she blocked them.
Get access
Yell at me some more.
the river.
Okay, Karen.
A hysterical middle-aged woman with a complete lack of awareness of her privilege. Why is Karen middle-aged? Well, the name's fallen in popularity. As of 2018, it sits at 637th for US girl names. Karen was consistently in the top 10 lists in the 50s and 60s. So today, there are a lot of Karens in their 50s and 60s.
Growing up, it seemed like all of my friends' parents were named Karen. My teacher was named Karen. I didn't know a single other Karen my age.
But why aren't we dissing other names of that era? Why not Linda or Susan? There are some theories on why this name in particular became the inspiration for this character archetype. Some Redditors point to Ray Liotta yelling at Karen in the 1990 film Goodfellas.
Where's the stuff that I left, Karen?
As the inspiration for the idea that Karens are infuriating.
Karen!
I feel like Dane Cook made Karen a thing 15 years ago.
Every group has a Karen, and she's always a bag of douche.
A clearer connection to the modern-day meaning of Karen can be found in the 2004 film Mean Girls, when the airy Karen asks,
"So if you're from Africa, why are you white?" Oh my God, Karen, you can't just ask people why they're white.
It's also possible Mean Girls writer Tina Fey used the name Karen because it was already in the public consciousness. It's really a what came first, chicken or the egg situation. But long before the name Karen became a pejorative, the character type had long been recognized by another name. According to Georgia Tech professor Andre Brock, during the time of slavery, Black people used to refer to a white woman exerting undue power over them as a Miss Anne. Even after slavery, there was a general fear among the Black community that a white woman could easily make a false or exaggerated accusation and send a lynch mob after any particular Black man. Given the Black community's history of interacting with this stereotype and the popularity of the name Karen in a certain age bracket, Black people started commonly referring to these types of women as Karens. Although the timeline is nebulous, the rise of smartphones and social media further spread and popularized the term.
Has anyone ever called me a Karen pejoratively? I don't think so, but I really wouldn't know.
I think I don't fall into the middle-aged, entitled white lady category that Karens are usually associated with. So no one's ever called me Karen pejoratively.
Toward the end of the past decade, people were filming and posting more incidents with Karens. It was common for each woman perpetuating the incident to get her own alliterative nickname. For example, in 2018, there was Permit Patty, a woman who called the cops on an 8-year-old Black girl selling water without a permit. There was Barbecue Becky.
This lady right here wants to sit here and call the police on them for having a barbecue at the lake as if this is not normal.
And she was like, it's against the law, I'm gonna go home and call the police. I'm like, you know what, do what you wanna do. I've been here 42-something years. I know where I can and cannot barbecue.
I was walking by and I saw her harassing him and stopped. He has done nothing. He's been sitting there chilling the entire time. He was really aggressive towards him.
It's nothing to do with their race.
It seems like a new Jim Crow going on because for some reason, every time I see it, Black people are the ones targeted.
Karen incidents often include a Karen unnecessarily contacting the police.
In like middle school, my friends and I were all over at my buddy's place for his birthday. We all had like these airsoft guns, but they have like fat orange tips on them. Shot tiny plastic pellets or whatever, like super harmless. Halfway through the party, this woman comes out and like starts freaking out about all these kids, and she called the cops. It was like really scary because I was the only Black kid. Definitely could have ended, you know, a lot differently. You know, like you see a Karen on the internet like wilding out and you don't really think twice or you laugh about it, but like in other people's cases, like they're getting the police called on them. And then those situations escalate and then people are getting hurt.
A Karen is a person who calls the police because, quote unquote, you make them feel unsafe. Even though you're not doing anything, a Karen calls your manager just because you're not giving them what they want. They're using their identity, their privilege to their advantage.
Often you'll see a Karen harassing service industry workers.
So I used to work at a coffee shop, so we were super busy. I was the only one there.
So I used to work as a host for a very popular restaurant called Sugarfish.
And this one woman, she wanted to order a sandwich, and she asked me what type of bread it came on. A sourdough type of bread. She goes, oh, can I see it? If there was any other day, I would love to do that for you, but there is a line out the door right now. And she was like, well, I don't want to order it if I don't know what it looks like.
Here comes Karen, and she's like, hi there, I have a reservation for 6. I talked to your manager on the phone. He said that y'all could sit us spread away, but you were talking to me on the phone. You're trying to pull one on me is what you're trying to say.
I went on to the person behind her, started taking their order, and she was like, no, like, I don't want anyone else to order before me. Like, it's my turn right now.
She starts yelling. She's like, this is horrible. I hate this establishment. And then she gets like a bunch of plates. She just smashes it down and like the plates fall all over the place. You know, there's food on the ground. Why would you do that? Who gives you the right to think that you have power over somebody else?
Why I would call that woman a Karen is because she kind of felt entitled, like, oh, everyone else can wait for me, like it's my turn now, like I'm the star of the show.
So, you took my masterclass and learned to make egg toast really good. Delicious. That's cool, but...
So I support the Karen memes because it sheds light of kind of like the privilege these people get. If this white woman, she can never do anything wrong, you know, she's always correct.
I think it's really important to that we talk about it, because back then we didn't have Karens because no one was recording any incidents. No one was recording any racism. No one was recording anything. So I feel like recording a Karen incident does bring light to racism.
The Karen meme graduated from popularity to virality with the onset of the coronavirus pandemic and the reinvigoration of the Black Lives Matter civil rights movement. Google Trends for Karen from the last 12 months show an increase in searches starting around middle to late March. The coronavirus version of the Karen meme became particularly poignant in the hellscape of 2020.
Where'd you get that mask from?
This Karen refuses to wear a face mask in public or in stores, harasses service industry workers, and spreads COVID-19 conspiracy theories.
Give me a manager.
I am the manager. She is the manager.
You need to leave. I am rich. Something you've never seen.
Bye, Karen.
The most Karen-y Karen, however, is Amy Cooper, a New Yorker who called the cops and said a black birdwatcher was threatening her life after he asked her to put her dog on a leash. That same day, George Floyd was killed by Minneapolis police officers. People began linking the racism of Karens, like Amy Cooper, to wider and more lethal instances of systemic racism and police brutality. But what do Karens really think about their name being used as a pejorative?
I was a little upset. A part of me really did think about who could I complain to about this meme.
When the Karen meme started gaining traction, I was horrified, obviously, because the name has a negative connotation to it now, and I didn't really want people to associate me.
Not liking the Karen meme is something a Karen and a Karen would do.
When I first encountered the Karen meme, honestly, I didn't even connect it to myself because I know that I'm not like that.
I have a duty as like a good Karen to prove that there are exceptions to the name. And it doesn't really bother me anymore because I know the meme isn't attacking my name per se, but rather it's labeling a certain type of person.
We have a knack for turning our hurt to humor, but my only concern would be that the Karen meme just stays a meme and it doesn't evolve and it doesn't move towards any sort of action.
In 2019, Oregon passed a bill to punish racist 911 callers, attempting to put a stop to people like the Central Park Karen. In July, a San Francisco supervisor introduced the Karen Act, which stands for Caution Against Racially Exploitative Non-Emergencies. Hopefully, with some reflection and change, this type of racist person can be a thing of the past. Let's all work together and kill Karen. I mean, not the person, the need for the meme. Kill the need for the meme.
Okay, guys, so there you go. The Karen is an idea. It spreads like a virus and infects various social media. That's what we mean by a meme. Okay, and I figured, sorry about the ads. And just to see then, the following comedy skit on the Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon? Jimmy Kimmel is now an example. The meme is the Karen, okay? And the medium in which it's getting to you, it's kind of a moving political cartoon or any of the skits on Jimmy Kimmel.
Karen, the doll collection.
So many choices. Express yourself. Where is your manager?
So many Karens to choose from. With Courtside Karen.
F you, LeBron!
dog walker Karen.
There's an African-American man threatening my wife.
Storm the Capitol Karen.
Nancy Pelosi eats babies for brunch.
Barbecue Karen.
I'm calling the police again.
QAnon Congresswoman Karen.
Wildfires were caused by Jewish space lasers. Pew, pew, pew.
Courtroom Karen.
I'm not day drunk. You're day drunk.
And Trader Joe's Karen.
I'm not wearing a mask at Trader Joe's. I have a breathing problem.
Each inflexible doll comes with bootcut jeans, a big gulp, plenty of privilege, and a flip phone to call the police whenever she sees something suspicious. Collect them all before the Democrats steal them. Karen mask not sold separately because science is fake and she's an American citizen, not a cheat.
It's my constitutional right. Don't tell her no.
She's the absolute worst.
Hi, I'm Jimmy.
Okay. So there we go. So let's continue with this in terms of examining the meme. Let's just look at some other definition of the meme. It's described as an anarchic form of folk propaganda. Okay. And this is the key in sentence number 2. By typing some text on an image, sharing it with friends, the masses, or just the individual author, has a voice capable of reaching a critical mass. And that's what makes it modern. So these are 2 sentences I got from the above articles that helps kind of define the role of meme in politics, okay? And from this book, okay, here's a quote I took. The selfie, meme, YouTube videos, and indie videos represent our attempt to deal with the madness of our mediatized world, or replace mediatized with hyperreal, while interacting with this absurdity and temporarily moving away into a safe and entirely fabricated space within. Okay. And of course, that space usually is either you're on the left and liberal, or right and conservative, and that becomes what's called your media bubble, so to speak, your social media bubble. Okay. So in other words, when we talk about the meme, this is a digital image, right? It's a stock image, you recognize it. The actual meme itself is always about the outlier, the rebel, that person who never fits in. That's the actual meme. And then here you just type funny languages, right? Or we could just say another way the meme is all these languages are related. Romanian is quite distant, and it's the rebel, you see, out of the line. Okay, here's a quote I put against what's the problem with the spread of digital images with mimetic ideas during a pandemic? They're misleading. Okay. You see, and it's so much so that where I got this from, I had to type the word misleading on it, right? Okay, so what's misleading, right? This is an idea that the meme is pandemics emerge every 100 years. Okay, and it's misleading, and I'll tell you why. The 1720 plague, I think the exact date was 1722 in Marseille. That is actually just a wave of plagues that began with the bubonic plague of 1348. Cholera, sure, struck in 1820, but it survived for a good 100 years. It technically still exists, and it's existed since time immemorial in the waters of India. It's only went global around the 1800s. There's not a precise date. The Spanish flu of 1920, in fact, that flu emerged in 1918, killed most of its people in 1918, then in the fall of 1918, keep in mind, then had another deadly wave during the winter of 1919, and 1920 made a short comeback. So again, that's misleading. And of course, we all know it. I don't know what this guy or she was doing. We all know COVID-19 emerged in 2019, hence the name COVID-19. And of course, historians hate when you say this. History repeats itself, okay, because it doesn't. We repeat ourselves, but great historical trends are a bit more complicated to have repeat and kind of neat cyclical cycles. But nevertheless, why are memes important? Well, these memes tell us why memes are important. They serve as historical documents. You see, if they're ephemeral, you see, as a historian, what I do, I collect them as kind of a digital historian to create a narrative. And this is what I'm going to be doing. Okay. And like this, they reveal a period of time, you see. If your childhood was like this, it's blank, okay? Or in other words, well, what did Roland Barthes say? This is the mask and the Purell speak a historical language. You see, this meme is embedded in a certain historical period that we've all experienced, and that's why we laugh or cry, depending how young we are. And perhaps, yes, what history essays in 2053 will be asking the role of memes as a coping mechanism. And so what am I doing? I am collecting the memes for future historians in 2053. And you see here the tweet, what is meant, it's ephemeral, right? It's not meant to last a long time, but it's still got a wide audience, 176,000 likes. Okay. And the thing about ephemeral tweets, though, they could make us question our reality. What in America was already broken before coronavirus emerged? You see, it's a profound question. So just because it's ephemeral doesn't mean that it doesn't have any kind of profound meaning. This tweet forces a philosophical question. At a particular historical time in 2020, what was broken before the pandemic? Okay, so that's the theory of ephemeral media. Okay, and we're going to proceed looking at these ephemeral media in the following lecture.